Hello, hello. My name is Braden. This is Airless Quill 9, and in today's video, we're going to take a look at the final few general feats that are present in the 20 Player's Handbook. Um, yeah. As you've heard in the last few videos, if you've watched them, if you haven't, please feel free to watch the other one because it's the last in the series. Um, General feats are a prerequisite of level 4. At any time you get an ability for improvement. And yeah, they all have some interesting benefits. The first one that we're going to look at is a little bit of a doozy. It is going to be Ritual Caster. So as you can see, there's a lot of text here, and I'll go over it with you so we can figure out what this feat does, because it actually does some interesting abilities. So you require an intelligence, wisdom, or charisma score of 13 or higher in order to take this feat. You gain the following benefits. Ability score increase. Increase your intelligence, wisdom, or charisma score by 1 to a maximum of 20. You gain ritual spells. Choose a number of level 1 spells equal to proficiency bonus that have the ritual tag. Always have those spells prepared, and you can cast them with any spell slots you have. The spell casting ability is the ability increased by this feat. Whenever your proficiency bonus increases thereafter, you can add an additional level 1 spell with the ritual tag to the spells already prepared with this feature. And then finally, the last benefit you get is called Quick Ritual. With this benefit, you can cast a ritual spell that you have prepared using its regular casting time rather than the extended time for a ritual. Doing so doesn't require a spell slot. Once you cast a spell in this way, you can't use the benefit again until you rest. So, Ritual Caster, interestingly, you do not require spell casting feat. So you could be any type of character and take Ritual Caster if you want some ritual spells at your disposal. It's nice that the number of ritual spells that you have from this feature, increases with your proficiency bonus. Also, you're not tied to any particular spell casting or spell class list. It's just any spell that has a ritual tag that is first level, which is pretty nice. And then once per long rest, you can cast any ritual that you have prepared for its normal casting time. And you don't need to expend any spell slots. The quick ritual is pretty good. It reminds me of a ability that the Order of Scribes wizard has. They do actually cast ritual as its normal casting time rather than doing the casting time. But yeah, I think Ritual Caster is interesting. I have seen people not grade this one very well, but I think there are some decent ritual spells that would make this an interesting place to take. Wizards don't need to have their ritual spells prepared in order to cast them with this feature, so quick ritual won't work for wizards unless you have the ritual spell prepared. Which, if you take this thing, you're gonna have ritual. So I don't know which classes would benefit from this greatly. I think an Eldritch Knight fighter could see use out of this. I think a Arcane Trickster Rogue could see use out of this. And I think there's some other classes that might gain benefits from this, but it's really going to depend on the ritual spells. And like I said, they can only level 1 with the ritual tag. So you're limited in what you can take, but there are some deep take there. Yeah, so I think this is a good feat. I think it is niche, but if you're planning on taking this, you probably have ideas of what you can do. So I think this will work for you. Sentinel. Alrighty. Get into Sentinel. So Sentinel requires a strength or dexterity of 13 or higher in order to take. Ability score increase. Increase your strength or dexterity score by 1 to maximum 20. Guardian. Immediately after a creature within 5 feet of you takes the disengage action or hits a target other than you with an attack, you can make an opportunity attack against that creature. Halt. When you hit a creature with an opportunity attack, creature speed becomes 0 for the rest of the turn. So I think they have changed Sentinel a tiny bit, and I think it's the halt uh, option. It now specifies that it's an opportunity attack. I think, or no, I think Guardian now specifies an opportunity attack. It used to just be you could take the action to make him attack against the creature. Now it specifies it's opportunity. So Sentinel is pretty good because all the abilities now work off of each other. Sentinel is characters that make use of opportunity attacks. Like I was talking about in the last video, I wish Polearm Master specified that the reaction attack was an opportunity attack because it won't stack with Sentinel because of that, unfortunately. But Vengeance Paladins do have a feature lets them opportunity, so Sentinel with that. So Sentinel has always been a decent, and I think it continues to do so. It has seen a tiny improvement, which has made it better. Um, so yeah, Sentinel is a really, really good feat. A good feat, and if you're taking Sentinel before, you're going to be taking Shadow Touched. So Shadow Touched is very similar in functionality to the Fey Touched general feat, which was in the first video in this series. Um, of course, Shadow Touch was previously seen in Tasha's Cult and Everything. It is now present here in the player's handbook. And it grants you two benefits. The first is ability score increase, increase intelligence, wisdom, or by 1 to max 20. And you also gain Shadow Magic. Choose one level 1 spell from the Illusion or Necromancy School of Magic. You always have that spell and the invisibility spell prepared. You can cast either of these spells without expending a spell slot. Once you cast either spell in this way, you can't cast that spell in this way again until you finish a long rest. You can also cast these spells using spell slots you have of the appropriate level. Spellcasting ability is the yeah, Shadow Touched, pretty good spell feat. The spells that you can take from this are pretty decent. Um, Getting free use of spells is pretty good because of how they function with the spell casting roll. Um, but yeah, Shadow Touch is a pretty good feat. I like it quite a bit. Let me get water before we. Sharpshooter. Sharpshooter requires you to have a dexterity of 13 or higher. Sharpshooter has seen some changes. Some people be a little miffed about it. So, ability score increase. Increase your dexterity score by 1 to a maximum of 20. Bypass cover. Your ranged attacks with weapons ignore half cover and 3/4 cover. Firing into melee. Being within 5 feet of an enemy doesn't impose disadvantage on your attack rolls with weapons. Long shots. Attacking at long range doesn't impose disadvantage on attack rolls with range. And I'm sure you've already noticed, there is no extra damage uh, benefit to the sharpshooter. So, um, interestingly enough, the heavy weapon master feat that we discussed in the first part of this series of videos actually functions with longbows and heavy crossbows because they both have the heavy property. So, a weird functionality is if you wanted to get extra damage with either of those two ranged weapons, you could take that feat and gain your bonus on attacks with those weapons. Just kind of neat. However, it does have a strength requirement for that feat, and it increases it. So it may not be something that you can do, but it is an interesting option. Um, but yeah, unfortunately, Sharpshooter does not provide extra damage, but the abilities that it does grant will make you better with ranged weapons. Uh, yeah, there's no damage increase. Is sad, but Sharpshooter is still a good option for you if you're playing a ranged character and you want to make sure that you gain every single mana from attacking. Shield Master. So Shield Master is a really surprising feat. Because it has seen some changes and some really interesting changes that are pretty good. So you do require shield training in order to take this feat, which makes sense. And you gain the following benefits by taking this feat. You gain ability score increase your strength score by 1 to a maximum of 20. You gain shield bash. If you attack a creature within 5 feet of you as part of the attack action and hit it with a melee weapon, you can immediately bash the target with your shield if it's equipped, forcing the target to make a strength saving throw, DC 8 plus strength mod, and proficiency bonus. On a failed save, you either push the target 5 feet from you or cause it to have the prone condition, your choice. You can use this benefit only once on each of your turns. So the actual change that originally the shield bash took a bonus action use. Now you can just use it as part of the attack action. So this feat is infinitely better to use because it doesn't require any additional resources to activate. So yeah, Shield Bash, very good now. Right? It is only once per turn, but you can once per turn for free essentially push the target away from you or knock it prone. Cool. Interpose Shield. If you're subjected to an effect that allows you to make a dexterity saving throw to take only half damage, you can take a reaction to take no damage if you succeed on the saving throw and are holding a shield. That is the same as 24. So yeah, Shield Master, pretty cool feat now. Um, I think there's a reason to take Shield Master, especially if you have shield training. Um, Not only do you have the potential of ignoring dex saving throw damage, uh, Shield Bash is a pretty decent option, and you get a strength score increase. Nice too. But yeah, I think it's a good feat. Skill Expert. Skill Expert is a feat taken from Touch called Everything. It is now present here in the 2024 Handbook. I've taken Skill Expert quite a bit. I think it's a cool feat. I think it's a nice feat. Let's go over what it gives. So you get to increase one ability score of your choice by 1 to a maximum of 20. So versatile in that way. You gain proficiency in one skill of your choice. Cool. And then you also choose one skill in which you have proficiency but lack expertise. And you gain expertise with that skill. So, Skill Expert is a pretty cool feat. You gain a skill proficiency, you gain expertise, and you gain an ability score increase for one feat. I like Skill Expert. I've used it. One of my current characters that I'm playing has taken it twice. Um, yeah, skill expert is a pretty decent feat, especially if you're playing some kind of a skill junkie. So rogues, pretty good option. Skulker. Skulker is going to be a feat that you want to take every time playing a rogue. So dexterity, 13 plus requirement. You increase your dexterity score by 1 to a max of 20. You gain blind sight with a range of 10 feet. Nice. Fog of War. Exploit the distractions of battle, gaining advantage on any dexterity stealth check you make as part of the hide action during combat. Sniper. If you make an attack roll while hidden and the roll misses, making the attack roll doesn't reveal your. So, like I said, this feat would be very good for rogues. Could be very good for rangers as well. Um, really, it's blind sight is good. The fog of war and the sniper are really what has advantage on all stealth checks made to hide during combat. Awesome, especially if you're playing a character that likes to hide and then gain the benefits of hide for the attacks. This will make get that off every time. And then sniper, um, missing with an attack roll while hidden doesn't reveal your location, which is really cool. So, yeah, I think Skulker is a really good feat, and you should definitely take it if you're playing a rogue that likes to take advantage of hiding. And then Slasher is a feat that was last seen in Tasha's Called in Everything. It works for slashing weapons. It is now present here, which is nice. So this is a feat that you're going to want to consider taking if you end up using weapons that deal slashing damage for most of your adventure phase. So you gain an ability score increase strength or dexterity score by 1 to a max of 20. Hamstring. Once per turn, when you hit a creature with an attack that deals slashing damage, you can reduce the speed of that creature by 10 feet starting from turn. This is a really crazy ability to stack with uh dang it, which mastery property? It's the one that you get the only way to benefit from this and the weapon property that I'm thinking of, the weapon mastery property that I'm thinking of is whip. Um Hamstring. Um Someone remind me in the comments, I'm sure. Uh yeah, it's the one that reduces and protect the creatures have this feat and the benefits of that weapon mastery property. Yeah, yeah. Enhanced critical. When you score a critical hit that deals slashing damage to a creature, it has a disadvantage on attack rolls until the start of your. That's like a free vex. But it's all attack rolls. Starting better. But yeah, I think slasher is a D. Speedy. So Speedy is actually a renamed version of the mobile feat. I don't know why they renamed it. They just did. So you need a dexterity or constitution higher in order to beat. It increases dex or by 1 to maximum 20. It increases your speed by 10 feet. When you take the dash action on your turn, difficult terrain doesn't cost extra movement for the rest of that turn, which is nice. Then agile movement. Opportunity attacks are disadvantaged against you. So originally the mobile feat, um, when you took the attack action, or when you made an attack against a creature, that creature could not make opportunity attacks against you. So it has been slightly downgraded. Now opportunity attacks just have disadvantage against you. But I think this has a has some improvements though, because since opportunity attacks have disadvantage against you, if you're needing to run through quite a few enemies, you're probably not going to have the ability to take attacks against all of them. So the effect that this just grants a flat disadvantage on opportunity attacks means that you have the option, the ability to run through groups of enemies and avoid most of their opportunity attacks because they have disadvantage. So, um, interesting thing to consider. I think this is a decent, even though agile movement is a downgrade. But I think there's still some pretty decent options from this. So yeah, speedy I think is a good option. Spell sniper. So, spell sniper. In order to take it into the spell casting or pack magic feature, it increases your intelligence, wisdom, or charisma. 20, it makes sense. Spellcasters. Bypass cover. Your attack rolls for spells ignore half cover and three-quarter cover. Casting in melee. Being within 5 feet of an enemy doesn't impose attack rolls for spells. Could be pretty good. And then increased range. When you cast a spell that has a range of at least 10 feet and requires you to make an attack roll, you can increase the spell's range by 60 feet. So, Spell Sniper is a really good feat, I think. It's a very good option for spellcasters. Um, what I have noticed though is that Spell Sniper pairs very well with the Illusion Wizard because Illusion Wizard get a new feature now where their illusion spells have an increased range or more. So Spell Sniper could pair with illusion spells, or could pair with that. So you would essentially have an increase of 120 feet on illusion spells, and then an increase of 60 feet on all other spells playing illusion. Which I think is a really cool pairing. So, but yeah, spell sniper in general is a pretty good option for spellcasters. The bypass cover is good, the casting skill is good, and the increased and you get an ability scoring on top of it. So yeah, I think a very good option for spellcasters. Telekinetic. Telekinetic is another feat that was taken from Tasha Everything. I don't believe there's any changes to it. But I will go over it real quick. Ability score increase, increase wisdom or by 1 to max of 20. Minor telekinesis. You learn the mage hand trip, or mage hand spell rather. It is a cantrip, but spell. You can cast it without verbal or somatic components. You can make the spectral hand invisible, and its range increases by 30 feet when you cast. The spell casting ability is the ability. Telekinetic shove. As a bonus action, you can telekinetically shove one creature you within 30 feet of yourself. When you do so, the target must succeed on a strength saving throw. DC 8 plus the ability modifier of the score increases feet bonus, or be moved 5 feet toward or away from you. So, a bonus action shove. Kind of cool. A bonus action shove that doesn't even use the mage hand. A bonus action shove. Yeah, telekinetic, pretty decent feat. Telepathic. This was also seen in Tasha's Cauldron Everything. It pairs with telepathic pretty or telekinetic pretty much. I don't think there's any changes to this, but we will go over it. Ability score increase. Increase your intelligence, wisdom, or charisma score by 1 to a max of 20. Telepathic utterance. You can speak telepathically to any creature you can see within 60 feet of yourself. Your telepathic utterances are in a language you know and the creature understands you only if it knows that language. Your communication doesn't give the creature the ability to respond to you telepathically. Detect thoughts. You always have the Detect Thoughts spell prepared. You can cast it without a spell slot or spell components, and you must finish a long rest before you can cast it in this way again. You can also cast it using spell slots you have of the appropriate level. Spellcasting ability for the spell is the ability increased by this feat. So, yeah, telepathic is interesting. I don't think it's as good as telekinetic. It has some options. And really, the only reason you're going to take telekinetic or telepathic is if you're playing one of these psionic option subclass options for classes in the there's handbook, such as the aberrant sorcery or the psi warrior or the psi knife, um, or the great old one patron. Um, but yeah, some interesting feats. Give you some Warcaster. Warcaster is always been a good feat, and it's still good. So you do require spellcasting or a pact magic feature in order to feat. You increase your intelligence, wisdom, or charisma score by 1 to a max of 20. Concentration. You have advantage on constitution saving throws that you make to maintain concentration, which was the main reason people took this. Well, not the main reason, but that was half of the reason people feat. Reactive spell. When a creature provokes an opportunity attack from you by leaving your reach, you can take a reaction to cast a spell at the creature rather than making an opportunity attack. Spell must have a casting time of 1 action and must target only that creature. And then somatic components. You can perform the somatic components of spells even when you have weapons or a shield in one or both hands. Also, another reason people for this feat. So, an interesting functionality of reactive spell is that, funnily enough, opportunity attack. The wording of it has been changed. Um, you don't Opportunity attacks aren't provoked by just enemies, it's any creature that leaves your reach. So, theoretically, you could use Reactive Spell to cast some sort of buffing spell on an ally that moved away from you, which is kind of interesting. So, I think the functionality of this or the opportunities of Warcaster have increased slightly, but it functions pretty much exactly the same as it did in 2015. Weapon Master. Gain the following benefits. Increase your strength or dexterity score by 1 to a maximum of 20. Mastery property. Your training with weapons allows you to use the mastery property of one kind of simple or martial weapon of your choice, provided you have proficiency with it. Whenever, whenever you finish a long rest, you can change the kind of weapon to another eligible. The Weapon Master is going to be a really good feat for characters to take. If they are playing semi-martial, martial's the right word, because it's not melee or range specifically, but if you're playing any type of character that takes advantage of martial capabilities, being able to gain access to the mastery property of your weapon is going to be a decent option. So, Weapon Master is going to be pretty good for characters like Valor Bards, Act of the Blade Warlocks. If you're playing a druids or clerics that make use of martial weapons, not mar- not martial, but simple or martial weapons. Um, yeah, any class that wants to dip their toe into using weaponry, if they want gain the benefits of the mastery property of that weapon, Weapon Master is a good feat to take. So yeah, uh, this is going to be a decent feat, and I think people are going to take that because of what it does. And that is the final feat. That is a general feat. So yeah, this is the last video in this series. Um, Overall, we've gone over 43 general feats. I believe is what I counted them when we did it. So yeah, that's all the feat options. There are some really good feats to take. Um, I think people are more likely to take uh, some of these half feats now than just defaulting to ability score increase. And I think that's okay because there are some really good options to take. Some of them are going to be build defining, some of them are going to be niche, some of them are just going to increase your ability in certain aspects that will give you just interesting options in general. There are a lot of good options to take. Some of them are meh, but overall, you're going to get some benefits at the end of the day. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I appreciate your support. I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers, so please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I will catch you all next week, and thank you all for watching. See you later.